Yeah, it's a result of effort too and emphasis, and we have, but obviously not enough. I mean, I see it every day, and we emphasize that since phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, all that things in the off season. Worked hard to try to put together a secondary the way we wanted, and I still feel good. It's happening. I can see the work ethic. I can see the talent. But like you said, well, it might be a good thing to start with this. So, the number one thing that I've always worry about is making sure we have a really good locker room. The amount of time that's for 30 years, or really, I've been head coach probably almost 20 or something, that's always been number one of the point of emphasis is, first of all, quality people and good unity and guys sticking together, and they are. I know the first 2 games haven't gone, and some of these guys have been part of this for a couple of years now, and it's like, I love our locker room. Our locker room, I just had a good talk with our team about it, and I see it on the sideline. I see it. I talk to the guys nonstop. Number 2 is health of players, and I can see, the sports performance model being a positive so far. I know we get little dings here and there, but for the most part, our guys are utilizing it. And then the third thing is what brings your question up is the spark. As Michael Jordan once said it in that documentary, is that Chicago Bulls struggled for years and years, and all they needed was a spark. And the spark happened to Michael Jordan, but not just him. He had a bunch of guys around him, and that spark, that's a stepping in front of a ball, intercepting it. It's a spark is what? A spark is a great player making a great play. And how do you do that? It's called competitive excellence. You do it in practice. You work it, and you work to put the players in those positions. And you evaluate the game last week. We could have been up 21-3, and we missed a couple protections. DJ was running 10 yards behind a guy, and we got pressured, and we didn't get it out. So just a spark by someone, and we all witnessed it. And some sparks are relatively hard to have it happen, and those are 103-yard kick returns. How many times does that happen a year? I don't know. I'm trying to think last time I had one on a team, a 103-yard, and that was DT, Daniel Thomas, and so did Chappelle. Obviously, that's why we brought him here, because he's got the talent to do that. But here's Chappelle running down the field, 100 yards down the field, leading them into the end zone. That's a spark. A sack fumble, interception, third down reception, And so when that happens, that's when the rock breaks. And so I don't mean to belabor that question, but the question is about interception and getting our hands on balls and making a play.
Herbert, is that spark harder to get when you've got half your locker room is accustomed to losing?
We're all working through it. Of course, it's different in college. I get that. I'm not trying to equate the two, but you take over a team that was 1-10. You take over a team that was 6-7. You take over a team that's 5-7. You take over whatever it is. Yeah, I mean it's hard. It's really really hard. And I knew it's going to be hard, but like I said, my focus is on what. I'm not worried about what happened here last year, the year before. I'm worried about the locker room. How's our locker room going? Our locker room's fantastic. How's the chemistry on the team? Fantastic. How's the relationship amongst the coaching staff? Fantastic. Just working your what's off. And that's all I'm concerned about.
How much can Josh Allen help you with all 3 of those things? The locker room?
S.
Yeah.
He's elite locker room guy, elite worker. He provide a big spark down in the red zone when he had a minus 19-yard sack on it. You see him try to knock the ball out too. So, I put, our captains are those guys.
How have you seen Trevor respond to this early season adversity? Have you seen him alter his routine or anything, or just continuing to work hard the way he's been doing?
I like the relationship with Schott and him. The one thing Bev and Schott have experience with young quarterbacks, but he's a grinder, and I know he's going to get better. But the one thing about quarterback play, and I'm going to say this also when he starts playing, when he starts having the great success he will have, the quarterback's a product of 10 other guys, and we all got to play better and execute better.
Is his development on track? When you take away the wins and losses, in your eyes, is his development where you need him?
I think so. That's a great question. I think so. We're going to see. It's still early. Completions come when there's no drop balls, when we're protecting. I thought our offensive line really hung in there well last week. The one sack was on a twist. And you're talking about excellent pass rushers, and you're going to see it again this week.
Do you feel he's going more for the big plays and you want him to get more intermediate and
Check
over
downs.
them check
Yeah.
downs? I mean, what's your reaction to that?
I think there's some validity in that. I think he's pressing a little bit. I've chatted with him about it, but it's also seeing the field. And I've heard this from my players when they come to this level, is that everything turns up to a 10 in speed. The windows are closed quickly, and every time in college, every couple games you get that guy that you're going to have to chip on the way out. Every week it's in the NFL, and so he's getting used to that's the number one thing I've always heard from. I remember all the way back to Alex Smith, like what the heck's going on, Alex? He said, "Holy shit, coach, these guys are fast, a little faster than Mount West or whatever it was." I said, "Yeah," and now I'm witnessing it.
One of the positives that you mentioned coming into the season was the fact that you had this veteran offensive line returning. Through 2 weeks, how would you assess your expectations for them versus what you've seen on tape?
I think we can play better, but I'm pleased with them. I think AJ fought through an injury, and then Barch came in, and I think we controlled the line of scrimmage. We played a very good defense, and we just got to run the ball more consistently. But pass protection for 2 weeks has been very solid, and that's number one goal of. Back in January, we made a decision to draft the number one quarterback was to keep him upright, and for the most part, we've kept him upright.
Notice that you winced a little bit on the sideline on the Draymond hit on Trevor right below his knee. I mean, for that momentary second, did the worst fear run through you?
It always does, not just because it's Trevor. Whenever I see a player go down like that, I mean, that's the worst part of this job. I mean, it wasn't a dirty hit; it was just part of the game. But yeah, it looked awkward.
Is
I
Trevor
think
missing?
a lot of people winced.
Is Trevor missing open guys? Is there separation right
Not
now
enough.
with wide receivers?
Not enough. Another good question. Not enough. That's why it's. I told people the 50-30-20 rule. When a pass is incomplete or when it's interception, it's 50% of the time it's a quarterback's fault. 30% of the time it's a Rodgers. That's usually why we don't have an over history throwing many interceptions, because the receivers are taught to clear throwing lanes for the quarterback, and not like the last interception was not on him. We didn't keep the red line, down the left sideline. It goes under Trevor's stat, but that was not on Trevor. The receiver, that was the 30. And then 20% is a protection, a tip ball, something happens that, the one before that was a little late in the throw, and the guy stepped in front and made a good play. That was, I talk about windows closed quickly.
When you think he's pressing, what do you say to him to try to get him off that path?
Just that. You got to know the quarterback. You put your arm around him, and we're all still getting to learn each other because this is our first year together. And I've had the quarterbacks that, you got to pick them up now. So far, that's not happened.
With CJ out for extended time on Sunday, not sure what his situation is going forward. What did you see from Tyson, and what is the plan with defensive backs?
We just signed a guy. Oh, shoot. Just signed it.
He's not on there. It's, what is it?
Nevin Lawson.
Nevin from Utah State, and I just met him. Great dude. He lives right next to Marvin Jones in Miami, so we got pretty good intel on him. But we like him, and CJ's still questionable. There's a chance he'll go this week. Trey Herndon's questionable. I saw Tyson. We are very pleased he's part of the Jaguars.
Did you see more success from him being on the outside than you did maybe in the slot week one?
I'd have to defer that to Joe and them.
How do you simulate a guy like Kyler Murray in practice just because of how unique he is?
Yeah, that's I've done it before. When we played Marcus Mariota when I was at Ohio State, you put a jackrabbit back there and run around and all that. You just, we're playing again in 4 days after this one, so I'm just thinking big picture. We all are. We got 2 humid days, so how many reps can you actually get at that? So we're going to do it, but it wouldn't be the way that I'm used to doing it.
Do you know who you're going to put back there to?
we're just gonna ask our quarterbacks, we can't do that. We just can't blow our guys out like that right now. Does that make sense?
How much of a challenge does Kyler possess, just with how he's playing right now?
Yeah, you can't, I watch it and I turn it off and walk away, come back, watch it, turn it off. And he's got good, they built a good team. That, understand the GM's been there for a little bit. That's a good football team, A to Z. I mean, you talk about some players on defense now. They have 2 pass rush. Obviously, J.J. Watt on the outside guy, 55, and then that safety is a really good player.
On offense, when I say the name Rondale Moore, what's your reaction to that?
I just have great respect for him. He knows that. I mean, I saw it firsthand, and that's the way I've always been. I mean, yeah, he destroyed us in 1 year, but he's their primary return. I think he's leading the team in the receptions too. One was a scramble where he's wide open, but you got to contain him.
Finding those dynamic playmakers is tough to do in this league. You're down maybe 3 of them when you look at, obviously, ETN, Tavon Austin, and now Chenault banged up.
Chenault's good.
He's good to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
He will be. I mean, he's got to get healed up this week, but he'll play.
Okay.
And same AJ Can expectations?
A.J. Cann's looks good for game time.
Urban, this is a little off topic, but can you wrap your head around what it might have been like to still be coaching collegiately with this name, image, likeness stuff that's going on right now?
Well, I'm very close, obviously, still to Florida with Danny. I talk to him quite often, and then also Ryan and my son-in-law. And wild stuff, man. Guy never paid the snappy, $1.5 million.
So would
I imagine getting him to go to Sociology 101 is not easy. Once again, that's not my issue.
right.
All right, good guys? Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.